When we talk about AI, we always hear from the big names, right? The researchers, the tech execs, but who's actually out there helping us, the everyday person, figure out how to use this stuff? Well, that's where this new type of expert comes in, the practical AI educator. And there's one name that's been coming up again and again, BK Han. So let's dig in and figure out who he is.
Okay, so to really understand why a guy like BK Han is making waves, we first need to talk about a feeling. A feeling I'm pretty sure a lot of us have when it comes to AI.
So, does this sound familiar to you? That feeling that AI is just moving at light speed? It's getting so complex, and it feels like it's totally out of reach. If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are not alone. For so many of us, that's ground zero, just feeling completely overwhelmed.
And that feeling, that sense of being overwhelmed, it quickly morphs into some pretty specific fears, right? You start asking yourself things like, is this just too technical for me? Or, oh man, am I falling behind at work? And of course, the big one, is my job on the line? But honestly, the biggest question for most people is just, with all this chaos, where do I even begin?
Well, this is the exact moment where a new kind of person is stepping up. Not some gatekeeper trying to keep the secrets locked away, but a guide, someone to show us the way. And that's precisely the role BK Han has carved out for himself. He calls himself an AI translator.
And that distinction is so important. Look, he's not one of those researchers tucked away in a lab, and he's not a big-shot exec at a tech giant. His whole gig is to be an AI adoption coach, a translator. He's the guy who takes all that super complex technology and goes, okay, how can we make this actually useful for you and me? He's basically a community trainer for this new AI era.
And this translator thing isn't just a single job title. He wears a ton of hats. He's an AI innovation coach for businesses, he's a community builder, a social media coach, and a digital creator. It's a really interesting mix, right? But if you look closely, every single one of those roles points back to one single thing: making AI practical.
All right, so that's the idea, the philosophy behind what he does. But what about the real world? What kind of impact is he actually having? Let's take a look at the numbers, because honestly, they're kind of mind-blowing.
First off, just look at the sheer volume here. By the middle of 2025, he'd already put on more than 192 events. And we're not just talking about little coffee meetups. These are full-on workshops and masterclasses, all designed to give people skills they can walk out and use that same day. The pace is just incredible.
But it's not just about cranking out a bunch of events. In 2024 alone, his I Am AI Bootcamp taught 226 people. And this thing was intense, an 18-session deep dive into mastering generative AI. That really shows you he's all about deep, meaningful learning, not just scratching the surface. And then you look at the scale of his reach. It's massive. Since 2020, he's trained over 130,000 live streamers and content creators. I mean, just let that number sink in. That is a huge community, and it tells you exactly who he's focused on, empowering creators with these brand new tools.
So what are these hundreds of thousands of people actually learning from him? Well, it's not some boring abstract theory, I can tell you that. It's hands-on, practical skills with tools you've heard of, like ChatGPT, Canva AI, and HeyGen. It's real-world strategies for things like making money on TikTok with AI. It's all about one thing: giving creators and solopreneurs something valuable they can use right away.
But it's not just about the tools or the big numbers. If you dig a little deeper, you find this really solid philosophy driving everything he does. And it's simple: put the human first, not the technology. He has this great term for it: building AI-ready humans. And I just love that definition. It's not about becoming a robot. It's about getting the right skills and the right mindset to work with AI, like it's a partner. The goal is empowerment, not just becoming dependent on a new gadget.
So what he does really is take people on a journey. It's a pretty clear 3-step path. You start out with that AI fear we were talking about. Then, through what he teaches, you build AI confidence. And then you get to the final step, the real goal: AI leverage, where you're not just comfortable with these tools, you're actively using them to get ahead.
But his work is bigger than just individual training. A huge piece of what he's doing is about connecting people so they can learn from each other. He's not just a coach, he's actually building an entire ecosystem.
Take his main project, for example, something he calls AI Town. The whole idea is so cool. It's not just another online group, it's a community of communities. The point is to break down those walls that usually keep people apart and get all these different groups who are messing with AI to actually talk to each other and learn together.
And then there's this other program he runs called One Man Army. This one has a super clear goal: teach you how to use AI automation to build a side hustle to move towards being financially independent. It's just another perfect example of how he's all about practical, real-world results that can actually change your life.
So when you put it all together, the coaching, the insane numbers, the communities he's building, what's the big takeaway? Well, it all boils down to one simple but really powerful shift in how we look at all this.
And here it is. This is the heart of his entire philosophy. It's about learning how to work with AI, not trying to compete against it. It's about seeing AI as a co-pilot, something that can amplify our creativity and make us more productive instead of being something we have to be afraid of.
And that really leaves us with the most important point of all. People like BK Han are trying to completely reframe this conversation. Maybe, just maybe, the question we've all been asking, will AI replace me, is completely the wrong question. Maybe the real question, the one we all need to be asking ourselves, is how will you leverage it?